What's interesting is my last couple relationships have come from Instagram.
How was that?
They DM'd me.
So guys, this is why you gotta make sure he posts pictures.
Do women prefer a man who takes his time or someone who's more direct in dating?
Both.
That's such a woman answer. That's literally the most woman answer ever. Oh, come on.
How long do we have to wait before you and Adam finally start dating?
You ready to lose?
Okay.
Oh, fuck. Sex, love, Jenga! This is Sex, Love, and Jenga. I'm Adam Roa.
I'm Sahara Rose.
And basically, we've asked you, our audience, for some of your edgiest, rawest, weirdest questions. And they all happen to be about sex, love, and Jenga.
Yeah, a lot of questions about Jenga.
Yeah, no, it's about sex and love. And so we put it into Jenga. So each one of these Jenga blocks has a question that you've submitted. And we're going to, one, try and win. You know how to play this?
I've never played before, but I'm very excited. It's my first time playing, so I hear it's American classic. So I have my Fairbies here, and we are going to win this very much.
What is with the accent?
It's just what? I try to talk American accents, but I get tired sometimes, so I just go back to how I am.
The accent just changed again. That was like two
No, this
different
is how I
accents.
talk, okay?
Okay.
Vouch.
Well, so just so you know, the rules are you got to remove a block like this.
Okay.
And then when you remove the block, because so there's questions taped to this, which makes this way harder, actually.
Very slippery.
The paper. And so now there's a question on this, and so I'm going to ask you this question, okay?
Okay.
And you have to, our deal is honest, authentic, like real truth.
I drank some ayahuasca before this, so only truth will come.
Only truth.
Okay.
I'm sorry on her behalf for that sacrilegious comment. My partner never posts about me on social media. Is this something I should be concerned about? I'm pretty sure my ex submitted this question.
I was going to say maybe you should answer this one.
Yeah. So my partner never posts about me on social media. Is this something I should be concerned about?
You tell me.
This is a question for you. This is the
you
game.
did this.
You can't change it.
I post about my partners. You didn't want to. Why?
Whoa. So wait, hold on. No. Answer this question before it becomes me. Answer the question.
Okay, my partner doesn't post about me on social media, and what she
Should
wants
this
it.
person be concerned that their partner doesn't post them on social media?
Yeah, because he's probably cheating on you.
Whoa, that's not, no.
Yeah,
no.
he better be posting you, posting flowers, posting anniversaries, posting birthdays. If he's not posting, something's wrong.
I don't think it's that black and white, actually.
What are you trying to hide?
I'm not trying to hide anything. I personally.
Why won't you post about us, Adam?
Hold on.
Why won't you post about us?
So I was in a relationship where she absolutely wanted me to post about us on social media, and I refused. And the reason why I refused.
Red flag, guys!
The refusal was because of a couple things. One, I'd made a commitment to myself. All of my previous relationships had been on social media. Okay. We were very social media heavy, and I wanted my next relationship to not be. I just didn't want my relationship to be a part of social media. I made a reality show about relationships, and so I just didn't want that. And so that was my own commitment to myself. Then it became something where she really didn't trust me. Mm-hmm. She was one of the like look over my shoulders in my DMs sort of situations, and posting on social media about the relationship felt like trying to satisfy something that wouldn't be satisfied. It felt as if your fear and insecurity is telling you to like get on my case to post on social media. I want to post from a place of pure celebration of our relationship. Mm-hmm. To post because you don't trust me feels like I'm playing into this game, this trust game that I don't want to play into.
How long had you been dating until she wanted to be posted?
A couple months.
Okay.
It was like a couple months.
Yeah, I feel like a couple months is pretty early for like a hard launch like that, you know? But I feel like after like 2 years, if someone still doesn't want to post you, I would be a little bit like, you know?
Yeah, I mean, after your second child, like when is the right time to post it? I just don't think, I don't think that it inherently is so black and white that if they don't post you on social media. However, what I will say is if you're not a social media personality, you and I are social media personalities in some ways, then your person should probably be posting you on social media.
Right. To me, you know, it's funny. My ex also wanted me to post about him more. I would post sometimes, but it just wasn't, he just wasn't part of my brand. I'm sorry.
He was very off-brand.
Yeah, he was just off-brand. His style did not fit. I wanted him to do more of like the poncho. He wouldn't. So I was just like, you're off my Instagram.
Got it.
Thank God we divorced. But anyways, he was always like, well, why don't you want to post? And yeah, I did feel like I don't post about relationship stuff. So what's the point of posting about this? But at the same time, I see some relationship people and they don't post about their partners. And I'm like, why?
Well, if you notice, most celebrities, like a lot of celebrities don't post their people. And so for me, one of the big things in my next relationship is not posting my person. And the reason is because I just don't want people, like, it's us.
Yeah.
Like there's a sacredness to it. And then there's my social media personality, my world. It's great. That's me doing my thing. I don't want to post my baby. I don't want, there's a lot of people that all over their Instagrammers, their babies and their kids, and that's not me. You're not going to see my kids like that on my social media.
Well, guys, this is why you should follow me instead, because I'm going to tell you exactly how I met him, what our dates were, how he proposed, everything. I'm actually going to have like one of those cameras on my forehead doing live streaming the whole relationship. So there's the safe Vaughn. Okay, right here.
This is her first time ever pulling a Jenga block.
You know, I kind of thought this game was like Jumanji. That's what I was thinking in my head.
Oh, that would have been fun. I don't know how we would have done it with these questions.
Okay, I think your ex submitted all of these. My partner thinks I'm not romantic enough, but I'm not great at big gestures. Any ideas on how to make her happy without embarrassing myself?
Wow. Well, I think the thing that most comes up for me in that thing is why a romantic gesture would embarrass the person. Why do you get embarrassed by doing something romantic? What's going on there? Beyond that, ask ChatGPT for some suggestions. And I'm being actually serious. I think that being romantic for me is about paying attention to little details. It's not big gestures. Paying attention to little details of what matters to your partner and what means something to them. And if you can pay attention to those little things, I find that those go further and you can come up with some really great ideas. And if you're uncertain, use something like ChatGPT or use something like Google.
I thought you were being sarcastic. That was an actual,
No,
wow.
yeah, because, but here's the reason. If you typed into ChatGPT, my girlfriend likes blank, blah, 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 blah. These things. Can you help me come up with 20 romantic ideas for what I could do for a date? I think that you're doing the initial stage of setting intention. And as you do that a few times, it's going to start to spark your own creativity. You don't have to do the exact thing. But if you're just not someone that's been thinking in that way, you have to start to train yourself to think in that way.
Yeah. I feel like the only reason why it's embarrassing potentially for someone is they feel like they're going to get rejected or it's too much, right? Especially like early on when you start dating someone. I don't know what it feels like for a guy actually, because it's more the guys who are like assumed to be doing the romantic things.
Yeah, we have to.
But like, do you ever feel like, oh my God, I really want to send her flowers, but is it too soon? Does that come to your mind ever?
I constantly have to ask myself if I'm moving too fast.
Same.
But it's just like I'm
I don't know,
a
another
crazy romantic
path, yeah.
trauma bonding freaking personal development junkie. So
Yeah.
I'm sitting in analysis of going,
my
I
love
wonder,
language, yeah.
am I grounded in this or am I actually just trying to recreate a poem that I've written? And so
I'm just trying to make heartbreak
well,
songs.
do you like having sex in public?
No, I've never had sex in public. Have you? I mean, you
No.
definitely have. I've never had sex in public.
I definitely have. What is
You were
that?
just telling me about your heroin use. I mean, sex in public
Whoa!
is nothing.
What? First of all, I wasn't like having sex for heroin under an overpass. It
We
was,
went there.
it was close. I mean, it was close. I guess it depends on your definition of sex.
Wait, is
But-
sex in public romantic to you? Where did that come from?
Yeah, there was no context of how that came together. The
We
reason
can
is because
talk
I was
at it.
thinking about what makes someone embarrassed of a romantic gesture.
I
And
don't.
I was thinking about sex in public and going, I personally would get very uncomfortable having sex in public.
Yeah, because it's
And-
not romantic.
Not because it's not romantic, just because there's a lot of reasons for why I would get uncomfortable in that way. Some people love it. Some people love that voyeuristic aspect. And so I'm wondering if
They just
the
needed to be seen more as children. We're gonna psychoanalyze that one.
I'm just moving on. I'm just gonna pull another question.
Anyways, I feel like romance is hot. Like, you should just go for it. If she's asking you for it, like, bro, you're long overdue. Just do that shit. Chat GPT.
Ultimately, what are you? I just don't understand what you're afraid of. Doing something romantic is beautiful. It's a lovely thing to do for your partner. And if you're embarrassed about it, I would just explore why.
Yeah, I would just do some mushrooms on that one.
What do men need from their partners to feel vulnerable, supported, and trusted?
Should I answer this?
I want to know, what do you think men need from their partners to feel vulnerable, supported, and trusted?
I feel like a lot of men are told to be vulnerable, and then when they are vulnerable, the woman like collapses because like a lot of times we can't actually hold it. You know, we can't actually hold his uncertainty about his path, his uncertainty potentially about us, and all of the things. So it's like we want vulnerability as in, I love you so much it hurts, but not vulnerability of, I don't know if this relationship might not work for me. So I feel like it's sort of a self-choosing vulnerability we want. And if we want men to accept us at all of our, shapes and spectrums and our full radiant feminine self, we need to accept men in all of those as well.
So can I ask you then, do you truly, deep down, if your man cries, has like a breakdown moment, do you find that, is there a part of you that gets a little bit worried about his ability to hold you and his emotions?
I think it would depend on how he's crying and what he's crying
Ugly
about.
crying.
But about what?
Grey's Anatomy finale. The finale. He just like he just saw an episode of something and just was like, man, that really hit me. No, but seriously.
I typically go for emotionally unavailable avoidant guys, so I would be like celebrating that
he has a heart. You have a heart.
Like, wow.
So let's say, let me think about something that like a real thing. Let's just say that he's super overwhelmed. And he's stressed about money. He's stressed about a certain thing. And he's just like going through a period of stress. And one day he just has sort of a breakdown and just starts crying and opens up about how much he's holding and blah, blah. Does that cause you on some level to worry about his ability to stay strong for you, your family?
Well, that exact situation happened to me at the beginning of my previous relationship. When we first started dating, he was taking me on dates and all these amazing things. And then he called me one day and he was like on top of a mountain and he was crying. And he was like, I really love getting to know you and I want to keep dating you. I'm just financially not in a place to be able to afford doing this. And I know you deserve that. And I was like, I don't really care. Like, we can go to the grocery store and make food. And I actually loved his vulnerability because I was in a relationship with someone before that had a lot of money, but not a lot of effort and time. So it actually opened my heart to him even more. And I appreciated that he was so honest. And then our relationship a lot was like us building our own businesses side by side. And then eventually he did become successful. But if he hadn't opened up and told me, he probably would have ghosted me and the relationship wouldn't have happened.
And so where's the line?
I feel crying over Grey's Anatomy, that might be a little much, but crying about something that you've been really holding in, that's an important conversation for the relationship's progression, that's a really noble thing.
What about after sex?
Just about how much he loves me?
Have you ever had one of those moments where you just have such incredible sex and then you both come and then you're laying there and you just start crying?
We're both crying?
Yeah.
I haven't, but I'm open. I'm
really?
a lover,
That's
girl. I'm open to it.
60% of the time for me. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I've
had Pisces?
I'm a double Pisces. My Mars and my Venus are both Pisces.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, but I find I've done a lot of work in the world of sexuality and opening up and sexual.
I love emotion. I like Pisces guys. I like Cancer guys. So I'm into that.
Okay.
So we like a crying guy, not over anything, but crying because you are feeling so radiantly alive. That kind of just cry of holy shit, we're alive. That's a beautiful cry.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay. And so then men need from their partners. Let me just speak to that. We just need to know that you won't think that we are less of a man. The fact that I cry wouldn't cause you to doubt my ability to show up in my masculinity in the partnership. I think that's important. And so however that needs to be communicated is different probably for each person, but I think that's a big one. Usually.
And I feel like someone like a woman that has a problem with a man crying, she probably doesn't feel comfortable crying either. You know, the more comfortable you are with your emotions, the more you could hold someone else in theirs.
Well, sometimes I wonder if it's the other, where a highly emotional woman wants a very stable man in his emotions.
Right, but she's more in like the shadow of I'm so overwhelmed with my emotions and I can't handle it versus like someone who's like, oh, sadness is here. Let's explore that, you know, because then you're not like overcome by the emotions, but rather you know that they're a visitor.
I saw a video on Instagram recently from a relationship coach who was saying one of the things that you can do as a man when you really need that release is to actually have a woman that you're in partnership with hold the space and say, hey, I really need to break down here. And can you just hold space for this? And for the woman to sit and just bear witness or give encouraging words or like whatever is needed while you just lose your shit for a little bit. And then after, you know, whatever the amount of time is, go, all right, thank you for holding that space.
Love that.
And I've never done that intentionally in that way, but that's an interesting idea. Would you be into that?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Should we do it after this?
Will you hold space for me? Wow, you're just so much better at this
Pretty
than I
good
am.
at this for
I
my
know.
first time. Can you really find true love on a dating app, or is it just a myth?
Of course you can find true love under the overpass where I found my heroin. Like you no, you can actually
Hey, what's your dating app experience like? Are you on the apps?
No.
Have you ever been?
I was on the apps very briefly, and I probably
Okay, you're telling us you can find true love, but you're not on the apps.
No. I just think you can find true love anywhere.
Okay.
Right? Wherever it happens to come through. I think that for me, the apps never were a thing. I did them very briefly, and I probably went on 1 or 2 dates. I found it to be more distracting and a waste of time. Also, my Instagram kind of is like, it's not a dating app in the sense, but
we're wondering why she wanted you to post a picture of her.
No, but I'm serious. Like you meet so many people and
Sliding
so many cool
through
people.
your DMs wanting to date you on your Instagram.
It does happen. I'm not gonna lie, it does happen. But to me, Instagram is a way of meeting people that feels more authentic even than a dating app.
Yeah, my audience is just girls and gays, so it doesn't work for me.
Most of my audience is women too. But
yeah,
but what I'm saying is, listen,
you
know my content. You've seen some of my content and what I put out. Like on my Instagram, you would get a better sense of me than the answers I put on a dating app.
Yeah.
And similarly, if I were to connect with someone and say, hey, yeah, let's exchange Instagrams, and I saw their Instagram, I will have a better sense of who they are than their profile on a dating app. So,
but what if you don't want to date someone that's on Instagram?
I don't want to date someone that's on Instagram.
Right. So then the Instagram doesn't work so well as the dating app.
Yeah. What's interesting is my last couple of relationships have come from Instagram.
How was that?
They DM'd me.
So guys, this is why you make sure
don't
you
DM
post
me.
pictures.
Don't DM me. Yeah. So what's your dating app experience?
I mean, that's how I met my ex-husband.
Yeah.
So I did find true love for a period of time. Here's the beautiful thing. So I met him on Bumble. This was like 9 years ago.
Okay.
And I downloaded that day, and he was the first person I met with on the app.
Wow.
And it was crazy. So when I went on that date with him, I just knew, like, instantly, I'm going to marry this person.
Wow.
And it was like a really just like harmonious, easy relationship. 4 years after that, we got married. We were married for 3 years. So we were together for 7.5 years. And so I would always be so grateful for the app because I'm like, had it not been for the app, we would have never crossed paths. Like he lived in Hollywood. I lived on the West Side. Like we didn't have the same friends. We didn't have the same interests. And then I realized we didn't have the same friends. We didn't have the same interests. We would have never crossed paths. So maybe. So that's why I don't want to meet someone on
my
dating apps.
four serious relationships in a row were people that I just met in person. Just like living my life, meeting them in person. And so then my last couple were from Instagram. And so I don't know. I think that proves my point. Like it doesn't matter. I think that the people you're meant to meet, you will
meet them. And God works in mysterious ways. And if God's like, yo, I got to put this guy on Hinge for you, put it on Hinge. If
Yeah.
it's like, I got to meet up at a coffee shop or whatever the thing is, I would say what makes today a dating app easier is like people don't leave the house, right? Like I remember when I first became single, I'm like, do I like go to the club? Like where do people meet, you know? So I like tried going to the club and I was just
Really?
like, this is,
You went to the club?
I went to the club.
You think
guys.
you're gonna meet your future husband at
I
the
didn't know where
club?
else one meets.
What are you talking about?
So I went to the club multiple of times and again, only girls and gays. And I had to like dress up, leave the house late at night.
Oh,
like,
God.
It was a whole thing.
How dare you put in a little effort to attract your mate?
Right. But then it was just like, I was just tired all the time. And then, you know, I had to eat after. And then I started gaining weight and I started drinking again. I didn't even drink for like 10 years. I was like, fuck, this is how you got to find another husband. And, and that didn't work out. I just gained weight and it wasn't fun and found a lot of emotionally unavailable men. So it was a good time.
Let's see. Go out late at night to clubs, start drinking,
Look, last time I
start
was single,
gaining
I was
weight.
23,
You're
I
really
didn't
going to
know.
attract your soulmate. This is it. All right.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But I didn't know where else does one meet in person. It's like, okay, everyone says, go meet them at like the fucking spinning
No, go
spinning
do
class.
things that you love.
Okay, do you go to the pottery class and talk to strangers? Do you do that?
I haven't gone to a pottery class.
So where do you meet them doing something you love? You just told me they all DM'd you.
I mean, ecstatic dances.
You can't talk at ecstatic.
Ecstatic dances. Yeah, you can. You just have to leave the main dance area. But like ecstatic dances would be something that I love to do. Friends gatherings, jam
That's the
sessions
best
is
through
a
friends,
place.
yeah.
What about like other things that I do? Go to events like Mind Valley or Summit at Sea or whatever, personal development events, attend retreats.
Okay, do guys do that thing that girls do that you walk in somewhere thinking, okay, I might meet someone. You do a little swoop on the room and then you're like, no, my person's not here. And then you want to go home.
I do that when I walk into Erewhon.
Yeah. I do that every room I walk into.
When I was really calling in partnership, I would be sitting at the grocery store. And, is it her? Is that her? Yeah. Oh my gosh! Look at she's picking like blueberries. I love blueberries. It must be her. And just like every single thing. And I hated that part, that chapter of my journey where it felt as if I was constantly on the lookout for where she was. And I don't think that's an attractive energy at all.
I was in that when I first became single, and then I was like, I can't live like this anymore. It's literally potentially easier to meet someone on that. But here's the thing. I have not met one person actually off of the apps because the actual lead gen to get there of like matching with someone, having an interesting enough conversation that you want to text, to going to a phone call, to going to a date, especially in LA, like to maybe drive 45 minutes to an hour to meet a stranger and then to like it enough to do it again. I mean, it's a fucking miracle.
Wow, you have the worst way of describing dating that I've ever heard. Oh my goodness.
Like, so you can find true love. It just probably won't last that long.
Wow, savage. Ooh, I'm going with with a side one.
Okay, he's risky.
This is a long question. I found out my girlfriend has a Finsta. Do you know what a Finsta is?
It's a fake Instagram tag.
Wow, I'd never heard of that before.
I mean, how do you stalk? How do you watch people's stories? You just go from your own profile. You just raw dog it like that.
I don't use. You made sounds over there.
Girl,
I didn't know.
I can't let them know how much I watch their stories. I gotta use my Finsta.
Really? I don't even know about this.
I mean,
but here's the funny thing. You were giving me a hard time about Instagram, my Instagram. I don't use Instagram in that way.
So if you like a girl, you don't watch her Instagram stories.
If I like a girl, I'll watch her Instagram stories from my account.
Okay, so you're letting her know then. You're sending a message that way. You know that, right? Like, especially if you go to the end, that's like you're in love with her.
I'm in love with her because I watched all of the stories. Oh my God,
if someone watches my stories to the end, I'm like, you want to fucking marry me. I know it. I know it.
What?
Yeah. It's like, that's how they show us.
Maybe I'm sending mixed
if
signals.
If you get
I
a
didn't
like
realize
on
I'm
that
sending
story,
mixed
it's
signals.
like, bitch, you're just asking me.
Oh, I don't like anyone's stories ever.
Okay. Well, maybe that's like the hint. That's like the poking of today.
I should show you some of the DMs. So you know Taylor Simpson.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I've started to do is just screenshot the DMs that I get and just send them to her.
I love it.
Because she loves
Okay, we're gonna have to.
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna have to get some out loud.
Anyway, I didn't know that was a Finsta.
Yeah. So when a
I
girl
wouldn't even
likes
think
a guy,
like I don't even want to do that. Why would I do that?
So when a girl likes a guy, we check his stories almost instantly. So we don't want him to know how obsessed we are. So we go on our Finsta. So he thinks it's just like, I don't know, Moonflower 67.
Wow.
Yeah. Just so if you have lots of
So
fake
if any of you
profiles,
have had
that's
your
how you
stories
know.
being watched by Moonflower 67, you know who it is. And there we go. Okay. I found a Finsta. I have no idea. I found out, but see, as a man,
you
I
guys
want
are
you to
so
know.
cute.
I just
Yeah.
want you to know, like, if I'm into you, you get to know that I'm into you.
Do you know what's the most like heart-wrenching thing I've ever experienced in my life? Like a guy that I'm really into, but then he like stops on my stories at some point, and then I'm in my head of like, what did I do in that story to make him stop? You know, I'm like, did he not like the angle? Did he not like the direction? I lost him there, and then I like really, and then I rewatch my stories from his perspective, and I channel his energy, and I watch them again. I'm like, what was he thinking about me?
I'm the other direction. I get super self-conscious about my stories in the sense of I'm always shirtless, and I do
Then you
stories
put a
in these
shirt
things.
on when you like a girl.
I get like, I don't like using social media to send messages or subliminal things. You know, where you post the meme that's really for the person that's,
Yeah.
I don't like that stuff. And then I feel like people read into my stories sometimes. And
No, that's weird to be like, you broke my heart. You know who you are. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But you do got to do a thirst trap. You know what thirst trap?
I do know, I was told by my ex that I had posted a thirst trap and I didn't know
was the
what it
thirst trap?
was. It was a shirtless, I was like getting ready and I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh man, I look good today. And I just like took a photo and I almost never do that. And I just posted it.
See, here's where you never thirst trap when you're in a relationship. Thirst traps are when you're like single and looking and there's someone watching your stories. It's for a specific person.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't trying to thirst trap. I'm quenched. But for me, it was just a moment of appreciation for, wow, I've worked really hard to get into shape. I feel really good. And I just was posting a thing.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
As you were getting DMs from girls. She was onto something. No.
I found out my girlfriend has a Finsta and won't follow me. It's a private account for close friends, so I have no idea what she is posting. Do I confront her about it or respect her need for a secret account?
Well, I have a friend who she has a close friends on Instagram stories.
Yes.
So your close friends, you curate people and you make stories for them. Her close friend stories are like just her very good girlfriends. And so she'll post like her dating life, conversations she's had, like all the things that she would have texted us, she does it on her close friends. So I could see maybe that's what I don't know. I don't know what your girlfriend's doing. She clearly doesn't want you to know.
Your girl's a hoe. That's what I'm saying. I gotta laugh over
I
there.
think she
I'm just
probably, oh my God. Sometimes
no, if you're in a relationship, so
Yeah.
if you and I are in a relationship, you can't have some private fake Instagram
that
account that
I
I
won't let
can't
you
see,
follow.
that you can't let me follow.
She's doing something weird.
She's doing
She's
something
selling
weird,
feet
bro.
pics, probably.
That's not okay.
You know, sometimes, have you ever seen these like femme fatale Instagrams?
Yeah.
Where it's like, make him fall in love with you, ignore him forever. Have you seen those?
Yes.
So sometimes I wonder who's making those, right? Because it's like toxic ass advice.
Probably
But they're
dudes.
like, really?
Yeah. Did you know that most OnlyFans accounts are run by men, and so the women are actually, it's sort of like the agency model. So mostly it's
heard of that.
men, and then the women are just like the actresses, the faces, or whatever, and the entire agency is actually run by men.
That's pretty sad because it's just like porn industry
It's
once
porn,
again.
exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, these femme fatale things are like basically telling you how to get him to send you gifts and blah, 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 blah. And sometimes I wonder like, who's writing this shit? So maybe it's your girlfriend.
I'm just saying that in my experience, as someone who actually wasn't willing to post my ex on my social media for very valiant reasons, is that I don't believe in secrets in a relationship. I just don't think so. And so knowing she has an Instagram account that she won't let you see is definitely
quite ballsy of her.
a red, like that's a huge red
like,
flag. She's
"No,
like,
you can't."
no, you can't. And so
You know this girl's posting all about you knowing about the Instagram on that Instagram.
I see no reason, because even in my
I say steal her phone.
even in my dynamic, I said at any point, if you want to read my DMs, you can read my DMs.
Yeah.
I was like, literally, you can
Okay,
take my phone.
do you
and read
give
my
your
DMs.
password to your partner?
No.
Why?
Why should I?
What are you hiding?
I'm not hiding anything. They often know it.
Okay.
Like, so like if you were, she's like, hey, what's your password? And I was just say it. Like, yeah. So I will in that.
Yeah.
But I don't start off and go, hey, I think we've hit the point where I want to give you the password to my phone.
It doesn't start off like that. It's like, oh, you needed to change the music or something.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I feel like it's weird. Like I had a friend who was like living with this guy for years and he would not share his, like she would need to change the music and he would not share the password.
I think it's one of those things for me. Anything that you want to know. I have a hard, fast rule that I never lie. Just 100% will not lie no matter what. So I always tell my partners, please be careful what you ask me. Make sure you want to know the answer truly, because I will always give you the truth.
I like that.
And so I won't necessarily volunteer the truth, but if you ask me, I'll tell you. And so passwords, DMs, like read whatever you want. I'm happy to do that. But for your girl to have a fake Instagram account that she won't even let you follow, let alone see in that way.
Femme fatale foot pics.
Yeah. You gotta confront her. There's something going on there.
Damn,
I really want to win, and you're just way better at this right now. I don't know how.
How long do we have to wait before you and Adam finally start dating? Adam, you have to answer this question.
I have to answer. Okay. I have to answer this question.
Yes. This could go one of two ways, guys.
Yeah, this is really hard because Sahara and I used to be friends with benefits for like a really long time.
Years.
Yeah,
While I was married.
Years.
On my fake my Finsta.
During
How we connected.
During a time when we were in that exploratory phase.
Yeah.
And so we were just trying kink and BDSM and foot stuff, butt stuff. It was just
Furby stuff.
Furbies, furries.
Stuff. Yeah.
And so once you cross that line,
I'm not wifey material anymore, I guess.
you know, once you peed on a woman, it's just really hard to like want to, you know, put a ring on it. There's just a thing.
Damn, we really aired it all here on this, whatever this is. Is this a podcast at Jenga, smoke, love Jenga? No, but the real reason why Adam and I aren't dating is because he's not my type. No, and I'm not your type either.
No, Sahara really likes overweight men. She really appreciates like just bigger guys.
I would say we both don't like people who are on camera.
And we actually talked about this truthfully. Like, I have no interest in dating someone who talks to their phone. And
while he talks to his phone for a living.
While I talk to my phone for a living. Exactly why I don't want to do it. And you don't want that either.
No.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny?
I can't even, the moment. So I feel like, so I'm catching myself not knowing what to share. So, one of the things that after a breakup is I like to just watch and see what that person does naturally.
Yeah.
And oftentimes what I found is what they start to do is in a direction that I didn't want. And it tells me, wow, they were not doing that because of me, as opposed to what they actually truly wanted. And so in a previous relationship, knowing that I didn't want to date someone who's that, we broke up, and then suddenly she's talking to her phone like way more. And I went, oh, that's amazing. That actually helps me move on because that's what you want to do. Thank you for letting me see that that's what you want to do, because I truly don't want that. And so, Sahara, I'm sorry, but I really need you to stop DMing me the naked photos that you keep sending. I appreciate it.
You wouldn't follow the Finsta. I'm trying to get your attention, but at least we have a picture of ourselves up
Moonstar
now.
67, we had our thing. We had our time. Okay.
Yeah, like personally, I would love to be with someone that doesn't know what social media is. Like he's just been in the mountains for the past like 30, 40 years. And and also there can only be one star in the relationship. So if it was like between you and I, it's
clearly you.
Yeah.
It's clearly you. I can't handle
I wouldn't even want you to try to compete. It would just be embarrassing for you. So
I would never try and compete except at Jenga because I want to win. And this is hard. How to get over the fear of hooking up with someone new after a long dry spell.
Oh, damn, this is personal here.
First, tell me, how long did you go after your divorce before you had sex?
I am still celibate for 1.5 years.
Are you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Seriously.
Still celibate for a year
Still
and a half.
celibate. And I talk about it on the podcast.
Wow.
And I'm such a huge fan of women, especially taking time to be with your own bodies. Because as women, like we literally like hold on to the energy of everyone that we have sex with.
Yep, it's in your DNA.
In our DNA, and we're taking on their qualities. So it's like, ask yourself, like this person who who you want to break this dry. First of all, the word dry spell makes it sound like negative. So I feel like when I didn't like intentionally decide I'm going to be celibate for a year and a half. Like I was just like, I only would want to have sex with someone that there's a heart and yoni is like vagina in Sanskrit connection. And so with any guy that I dated, it was always just like, I never felt safe with them, or I knew I wasn't going to see them again because they lived somewhere else, or just something was always off, So for me, I would rather just be in my own energy than have sex with someone, create the oxytocin bond and not see them again or not want to be with them or whatever the other thing was. So I started to see it, like, especially after like 6 months, it no longer was like, oh my God, like, I wonder who I'm going to have sex with next. I started to like feel so much more creative. First of all, I started to create music. I made an album. I don't think I would have created that album, started doing all my poetry, all my rapping, like this full new artistic expression of me had it not been actually for the celibacy.
Oh yeah, the sexual
So
frustration
I think you should just
channeled.
you
Sexual
should just
frustration
keep it.
channeled into the album's called Sexual Frustration. I like
sexually
poem
frustrated.
track number 3. It's called Dry Spell. Yeah.
But I would say there's huge power. And so, Lenny Kravitz has been celibate for like 8 years.
That's a fucking lie.
No, seriously.
Lenny Kravitz has been celibate for 8
Yeah,
years.
he like talks about it. A lot of creative and a lot of artists do it because your creative energy is your sacral chakra. So anyways, it sounds like you're trying to fuck, but I'm just saying, if you don't, there's a lot of benefits.
Yeah,
if you do.
Basically, how to get over the fear of hooking up with it. Sahara is basically
I'm
like,
well,
don't
you're
do
just
it.
gonna become
Don't do it. You're gonna ruin your life. Don't do it. Okay, I'm gonna give you some real advice. My goodness.
Stay a virgin until you're married.
She's trying to like validate her own dry
yourself
spell.
to Jesus.
Every time
Your
you
Lord is the
masturbate, God
Savior.
kills a kitten. Okay.
No, it's California celibacy. You can masturbate as much as you want.
Yeah. Oral sex? Is that celibacy? Where do you fall on that?
No, that doesn't count.
Wait, doesn't count in what direction?
I think.
Are you still celibate if you have oral sex?
I think it depends your definition.
That's what I'm asking you. That's what this is. That was a question.
Let's get back to you.
I want to understand.
No, I don't count that as sex.
You don't count it as sex.
I count sex as like penetration.
So have you had oral sex in the last year and a half?
Wow. Okay. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Slut.
Baby, I'm an altar.
Yeah, I agree. I consider it celibacy even if you're having oral sex.
Yeah.
Personally.
Because I don't think that's as like much of your energies entangling, etc. Yeah, but
Tingling?
Entangling.
Entangling.
But even that to me has always been someone I am like dating. I'm not like at the club.
No, we know you didn't find anyone at the club.
No love in the
Nothing
club.
but a Big Mac at the club. How to get over the fear of hooking up with someone after a long dry spell. I think that I don't know if this is a man or a woman asking the question. I think it's a little different probably for men and women. So if I've gone months without sleeping with someone and that's approaching, I feel like, how do I get over the fear of
Like,
I
are
don't-
you
I
afraid
don't
you're
feel
gonna
like-
come fast?
Yeah, well, absolutely. So like the thing for as a guy, so I practice a lot of semen retention. And so if I'm having sex with a partner, maybe I come one every 2-3 times that we actually have sex. And I try and retain the rest of the time. And so the thing is, like when you do that, if you're not ejaculating, it becomes harder to hold it every time that you do it afterwards. And so if you go a long time without that, and so I would say that if I was getting ready to be sexually active again, I would probably start masturbating and like just get my body used to the sensations again. That would give me confidence. I don't know, as a woman, I don't understand what it's like to like in that regard. Do you feel rusty?
I think you're afraid that it's gonna hurt potentially.
Okay.
Because you're like so tight. you know? So I feel like that's also where it comes with like the safety with that person, being turned on by that person. Like I wouldn't go from like you've been celibate for a year and a half to like, oh, one night stand, you know? Like I feel like also the longer you wait, the more intentional you are that it's like you wouldn't even want to have sex with a random person because it's like, you know, you've held that energy within you for so long. So I would say, let's say you do, I would honestly like tell that person, you know, like I would like tell them like, hey, it's been a really long time. And just maybe letting them know, maybe they will be more gentle with you potentially. Do you think you would have sex with someone differently if they just told you they had been celibate for a long time versus not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. It would make me want to check in with them a lot more about certainty.
Yeah.
And going, hey, are you like really sure?
Yeah.
Because it's a big deal. And also I'd be afraid of them falling in love with me and like legitimately that the oxytocin release and all of the things creating such an intense feeling so that they haven't had in a year and a half or 2 years. Like that's an intense kind of responsibility and pressure to take on too.
And then I feel like that's how women, we like veto out the fuck boys. If he's like, well, I'm afraid you might fall in love with me. Sorry. Then you know to just walk away. We're going to keep her. No. There we go.
Oh, she got it.
Yeah. Does oral sex mean different things for men and women?
100%.
Okay. What does it mean to
so.
you when you tap into the vibration?
Of giving or receiving?
Yeah, like what's the vibe for you in general?
Well, I think that
Calling in the spirit.
I think that for a lot of men, I'll speak for myself, but a lot of men, I don't think a blowjob is as big of a deal to me as it is probably to women
for the giving of the woman?
Yeah, because like it's happening outside my body, right? Mm-hmm. That's one of the things about sex that I think is really important for everyone to understand is it happens in your body, it happens outside my body.
Yes.
And so that inherently is going to be a different level of intimacy and the feeling of that. And so to give oral sex to me feels more intimate than to receive it. Mm-hmm. And so that I imagine is probably the same for like reversed.
Yeah, I think it is a lot more really vulnerable for women to receive it, you know, because like a lot of stories in women's heads and like it's just you're literally opening up your body to someone, whereas for a guy, I feel like they don't really think much of it.
Yeah. And also I think for women, there's the like taste, smell, like that whole thing that is, I would probably imagine is in your head around it.
Yeah.
And then for a guy, it's like, no, that's just my dick. It's just, I like it. I'm friends with him. Can morning sex actually improve your relationship?
I think.
Don't ask the person who hasn't had sex in a year and a half.
Back in my day when I remember what sex was like, I'm trying to think here. The wrong person for this. No,
you know, there's new positions now.
Really? Wow. Yeah. Wow. What are the kids doing these days?
It's gone beyond doggy style and missionary.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Gotta watch some Pornhub, get myself back on track. You know,
don't watch Pornhub. That's a lot of trafficking.
It's like, we couldn't even.
Stark. Don't
so,
go there.
I feel that morning sex is really beautiful because you're vulnerable. You're like, maybe your teeth aren't brushed. It's like the time that you're just opening yourself up and to connect in that way. I feel like for a lot of couples, you go throughout your day and you're like living different lives and you're not connecting. So sometimes it's like, even if it's not sex, like just morning cuddling, morning intention, like spending 15 minutes like extra in bed together, I feel like is a really beautiful way to start your day.
100%. I think that starting your day off with connection is super important because it's very easy to get into the flow, especially, I mean, we're both super busy. There's no end to the amount of things that we can do in a day. And it's important to start it off with connection, I think, because also it sets the tone. It sets the tone. And so it doesn't have to be sex. It can be sex, but...
But is morning sex your favorite time?
Not necessarily. Mm-hmm. Sometimes for me, it depends on if I wake up and I'm really hungry. As weird as that sounds, there will be times I wake up and I don't even have the calories for this. I need to wake up and I need to eat something and I need to energize my body to wake my body up in that way. And then there's other times when I wake up and I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. So it sort of just depends on the day for me.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes in the morning too, I like kind of want to stretch. You know, so I'm just like, my body's just sort of
You should try the new positions they're doing these days.
What are they doing? Acro,
stretch you out.
Something.
Yeah.
I feel like ideal for me is like the afternoon, because it's like I've gone to the gym, maybe I did what I needed to do, but it's still the sun's out, so I'm awake.
Yeah.
I hate a nighttime after dinner. I'm bloated. I'm tired. Yep. It's just, you know, but that's like with the expected time.
Well, I think that's also because a lot of people have drinks at dinner too.
Right.
Yeah.
Like even like drinking after dinner, then I'm going to be extra bloated.
Afternoon sex is great.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the afternoon sex.
Yeah.
It's like a midday break, fall asleep for a little bit.
But sometimes it's hard in relationships because you like to have sex during different times of the day that it's like hard to sync up. For some people, afternoon sex is like the middle of their workday. So it's hard for them to like mentally go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's something attractive about that for me. To be in the middle of a workday and for my woman to come in and just
or like a Sunday afternoon and like spend hours in bed, you know?
Yeah.
Thank you. My God, I'm fucking crushing it with this.
Oh, now we're down to 1 on there.
Okay. How do you know if your partner is challenging you to grow or actually just feeding your shadows?
How do I know?
Like, is it helpful or is it toxic, you know?
I think that in relationship, we are going to trigger each other's deepest shadows. I think that is just part of it. It's kind of the design because of the level of vulnerability that's there. You are literally and figuratively naked with someone, and you are putting your heart on display with someone. And so your shadows will get triggered. Your protection mechanisms will come up. All of that stuff will happen. And I think that for me, the question is always, are we in it together? Are the ways that you're challenging me, are we talking about how this is a goal that we both have? This is something that we have both acknowledged as an issue and something I want to work on, and we both see the direction that we want to move. I think that is the way that you can tell, as opposed to someone like pointing at your stuff, saying it's this thing, and you're going, I didn't ask for this. It's not something I want to work on. I don't even necessarily agree with what you're trying to shift or change in me. And I think that would probably be the difference.
Yep. Dangerous.
How do you protect your energy while navigating the world of online dating?
Well, I feel like it can definitely fuck with your head, because I remember when I first got on the apps, I took them as actual human to human conversations, and most people don't see them that way. So I remember I started talking to someone and then they just unmatched me in the middle of the conversation. And I spent 2 days sulking about it.
Wow.
I was really just like, what happened here? You know, like I was taken aback. But people just, I don't know, like maybe you saw something on my profile you didn't like who the fuck knows? And people just like really don't take it seriously, you know? So I had to kind of like grow a thick skin around it, and also just not really take it seriously either. Of like, I took it as, if we're talking on the app, I'm like talking to you, right? But most people, they'll check in, they'll disappear for a week, they'll come back, whatever the thing is. So I do think, here's what I've noticed though. If you connect with someone, it's either like in the first 24 hours, you're gonna like start talking and maybe exchange numbers and that. But if it's more than 24 hours and it's back and forth, likely it's never gonna be anything.
Well, how do you protect your energy around that?
So I would say only actually energetically even open up to someone that within the first 24 hours, like this is like a serious person who wants to actually connect. There are a lot of people on these apps that just want someone to text with. That's what I've learned, is like they don't actually, like they probably have girlfriends and stuff, you know?
Wow.
It's crazy. So I would say don't, unfortunately, like take it super seriously until you've connected with that person off of the app.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not on the app, so I can't say.
Just, you know, close your heart.
Put up walls around your heart. Don't let them in.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to win. I'm telling you.
Ay, Dios.
Oh my goodness.
Try to move.
The whole thing just shook. Damn it.
When it comes to spending time together, is it better to focus on quality or quantity? So let's take extreme versions of this. Okay. Like, for example, I have a friend whose boyfriend is always traveling. So they see each other every like 2 weeks, but they'll spend like a weekend doing really fun things. Versus I have friends who they live together, they both work at home, they're always together, but they never really like do fun things. So like, I would say that's like quality quantity right there.
Yeah, I think it just depends on what you want. You know what I mean? Like sometimes what you want is just to be around someone and be lifing with someone. And then sometimes what you want is I'm going to life over here and I want the fun and the adventure. Like our relationship is that thing. Remember that until the digital world kind of popped up, people went to work 9 to 5. They left at 8 a.m. They got home at 6 p.m. And the only time that they spent together was in the evenings and then the weekends. And so we live in a time where it can be very different. And I think probably you and I have been in this online space for so long that it's also a bit of a bubble for us because most people still are operating in that 9 to 5 where they only see each other in like evenings. And that for me would never work.
So you spend like all day with your person?
Not all day with my person, but I would rather be home with my person. And so it's hey, I'm gonna run to the gym and I'm gonna go to the gym and then I'll come back and then hey, I got some calls and oh, you're gonna go on a walk with your friends and do
So how
things.
soon
Like,
in
great.
do you move in with your person?
I mean, it's always been different, but I've been nomadic for 6 years. So my relationships wind up spending, even if we're not moved in together, it's
They're traveling with you.
they're traveling with me or, hey, I'm here for the next month. Come and spend as long as you want, right? So we are effectively living together because they come and stay with me in my place or I stay with them in their place just because I don't have a home base. And so the people that I meet, it's not like we're in the same city.
Got it.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, the type of relationship that you want, you know, I've been in kind of both. Like I was in a relationship that he would do these like really elaborate things. Like he rented an ice skating rink and these beautiful things.
Like just for the two of you, a whole ice skating rink?
Yeah, for Valentine's Day. And it was very
Wow.
sweet. But then we didn't really like connect much on the date. Like we would see each other, but like not that much. But it would be these big things.
I prefer the other one.
Right. And then, but I actually have never, well, actually, no, I was married. I forgot that, but
I forgot that.
I'm like, I've never been in a relationship with that. No. I don't know. I liked the ice skating rink. I would go back to that.
No, but I love the little things. I love like knowing the type of drink my partner likes in the morning and making it.
What
so
about
that
both?
I like,
Quality in your quantity?
Yeah, absolutely. I think,
Codependence.
but you said if it's or, I love, again, I'm someone of little moments. I really, it's big gestures are not what is important to me. It's these little moments. And so to know that just the way you cook together, the way that you actually navigate and operate a home together, the way that you like fall into the routines of taking care of your nest together.
Yes.
Like those little
But also
things
to not take the like displays for granted, which is the romance, you know? Because I feel like what happens sometimes when you're with your person, you're living together, it's like, of course I love you. It's assumed. Whereas I feel like coming back to that romance question, like romance is the decision that I'm going to make an action to show you and remind you how much I love you. And even in me doing that makes me fall more in love with you. Oh my.
Yes. Yes. How do you handle a relationship with a narcissist? Is there hope or should I move on? Oh God. Can I?
What? Yeah, let's talk about this word.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But I can't with this word.
I know, I agree with you.
Narcissist. Because, and by the way, this is a generalization. Most of the time it's women describing their ex-boyfriends or husbands. It is usually that direction. I don't have a lot of guy friends that describe their exes as being narcissists. But just clinically, the amount of women that say I was dating a narcissist relative to the amount of actual clinical narcissists there can be, it just doesn't add up. And just because the man did not give you what you want, agree with you or like show up in the way that you desired does not make the man a narcissist. And I think that that word is being thrown around so much right now as a way of bypassing and feeling better about the fact that that man was not the right fit for you or did not want you or whatever it is. And it just, the term is triggering to me at this stage.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely overused. It's thrown as a label. And I do think there are people who are like clinical narcissists who really do lack empathy, but also that's related to trauma, you know? But what was her question specifically?
Just how do you handle a relationship with a narcissist? So they are in, and we assume it's a woman, but I don't know. How do you handle a relationship with a narcissist? Is there hope or should I move on? If you're in relationship with someone that you think is a narcissist.
I think it depends like the level of it, right? Like if it's someone who completely lacks empathy, does not show you love, extremely controlling, sociopathic behaviors, infidelity, abuse, addiction, like these are more serious things that I would say then, yeah, they're going to need to do a lot of deep inner work and they can move through it. But the thing is, most people who are like that likely won't, you know?
But can we just ask the question, if you actually believe they're a narcissist, why are you in a relationship with them?
You know, they might have children together. Like there's so many things.
Yeah.
I agree with you. And there are a lot of men whose trauma has made them become very narcissistic.
Yeah, we all have narcissistic tendencies, right? And so I just think that by definition, if they're actually a narcissist and they're incapable of really caring about you and your feelings.
Then no, they're incapable of true relationship. However, if there's like an opening that they, want to make the relationship work, then it can work, but then they wouldn't be a narcissist.
Right. Yeah. That's what I don't understand. So I guess my question is, are they aware of their narcissistic tendencies and wanting to work on them?
Yeah.
So that's the only way I would see hope. If someone said, wow, I'm aware that I have this tendency towards self-absorption and I do want to work on that. And so I'm open to working on that with you. If they're at that place, I think that you could find hope.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's ultimately, does that person want to change or not?
You're aggressive. Dear. That's your sexual frustration. Causing that.
Gonna make a new album. I'm fucking schooling it. World's longest. My first time too. Are nude photos a sign of a healthy relationship or a red flag?
Oh, definitely healthy.
I mean, you were taking them.
I've sent my fair share.
But you were even so. Is this person? I'm wondering. Are they asking on Instagram, like posting nude photos on Instagram, or just to send it to someone?
I'm assuming
to send it to the person. Okay,
that's how I read it.
Okay.
I don't think posting nude photos on Instagram is a sign of a healthy relationship necessarily. Depends on it.
But all right, so how soon do you send nudes to someone?
Like full nudes?
Do you have layers, or do you do a topless kind of assess and then go from there?
I mean, you can go just like the shirtless.
Have
selfie.
You ever sent just like a dick pic?
I'm sure I have at some
point.
I'm sure I have at some point. I've never sent. It's not often. If I have, I can't actually recall in this moment. But I mean, I've been in long-term relationships.
And do they ask like, I'd really love a dick pic of you?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm amazed the girls want that.
Yeah, but I'm also an artist, so my photos are really
okay. So how do you?
They're like no, but I mean, do you know what I mean? There's like good filters. They're noir. There's like the right shadows.
Okay.
And then whatever, and like to me. So
it's like a sunset dick pic.
No, it's not even. It's necessarily a dick pic. It's just like the picture that's like a sexy photo that leaves room for the imagination. But it's not just like, here's my dick.
Can you describe one of them to us? Like,
I'll show you. You want to see one? Hold on, not like a dick pic.
I'm imagining you like on a balcony in Paris, like overlooking the Eiffel Tower with your dick out.
That's it. No, but I'll show you the type of photo that I would send to.
Are we showing it to them too?
I can't send you this one. Hold on. Let me show you. Hold on. Let me find something. So like this would be something that I would send to someone.
That's not a dick pic. You're wearing shorts.
That's what I'm saying.
This is on your Instagram. I saw it already.
This is not on my Instagram. But like that sort of thing that is
He was giving us the Jessica Simpson little tuck down in that one.
Yeah, like pulling the shorts down,
Exactly.
pulling
Very
the shorts
2000s
down.
of you. I like
Very
that.
2000s of you.
Yeah.
This one's a little bit more revealing. I don't know. I'm just going to show it to you just to see your face. Do you really want to see this?
Let's see it.
Okay, I'll show you.
Okay, it's just an ab close up.
That's not just ab close. That's
That's all I saw.
see. This is why you don't get any. This is because you
I
just have
saw
no
a close
appreciation.
up of your. What else was there more there?
Everyone watching this is gonna be like, "Wow, he must have a really small penis." She couldn't even see it. No,
I've committed myself to Jesus. He's my Lord and Savior. I don't see anything
she's
else
been
but Christ.
celibate so long she can't see a
I can't
penis.
see that.
They're gone.
Not in my
They don't
spirit.
even exist.
I was like,
No.
your aura's purple in that
No,
one.
but like that's what I mean. That's an example of the type of.
There was no dick in that one.
There was no dick in that
Yeah.
one. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, but like hand covering things, like
Okay.
different things, like those sorts of pictures, I
Okay.
think are super great at keeping.
So what's like your creative process on that? Like, or are you just in the moment and you're just like, damn, I look good, and you take the pic, or are you like, I'm gonna set it up for her?
angles, lighting, filters,
Okay.
photo edits?
Damn, you really put it through multiple apps.
I just
What about the photo quality? Like, doesn't it go down? You keep saving, and then another app.
I don't really think about it that way.
Okay.
Not that
Do you bring
deep.
Jessica, the videographer? Has she ever shot for you?
Has she yeah, we've actually shot a bunch of like shirtless, sexy photos. Yeah.
Hey, damn. Yeah, maybe you should start an OnlyFans. You can manage it yourself. Since
I
you're a
want
man.
so I have this idea that I would love to do where I read erotic poetry from a bath. So there's no nudity, but like candlelit in the bath reciting an erotic poem. Yeah. I feel like that would crush on OnlyFans.
It would crush on OnlyFans. It would make your girlfriend feel really safe in the relationship too. So, yeah. And keep not posting her. Sure.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that nude, sexy photos are a really great way at just keeping the energy going.
Yeah,
I think,
especially here's the thing. Like for me, when I was like younger, I would, and now I would never, just because like the opportunity cost for me is not, it's like, what if we broke up and then they got nudes of me and they could just like put it on the internet? Like I would not put my face ever in a nude. I feel like as a woman, like we have to be a lot more careful, especially with all the like weird deep fake shit out there. Whereas for a guy, like there's literally been like naked pictures of like a lot of male celebrities and like no one even, they're like, haha. Whereas for a woman, it's like a very big deal.
Yeah, but so when all those leaks came out, like Jennifer Lawrence and these different, right? But like, did it destroy their careers? Like what is,
I didn't know Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, so like, I'm just saying, you didn't even know. So when you say it's a much bigger deal and it's a whole thing, well, I think it's a big deal to everyone. I wouldn't want any of my non-dick pics still out there in the world.
Yes.
And at the same time, that's a reason to be like, pick who you're going to send those to.
But like,
do you trust?
Cameras get hacked, phones get hacked, like so many things happen.
But I mean, I have videos that I've made with my exes, right?
Yeah.
Have you done the video thing?
No.
Really?
I would not.
Wow. Why?
Because I would never want that to like get released. It's just not worth it for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
To me, it's so sexy. It's such a fun thing. Like I see it as playful and fun, and I don't know. It's not even. It adds this element.
I feel like for a lot of women, like the fact that they know that there could be like naked photos, let alone a sex video of them like just living somewhere, is horrifying.
Really?
Yeah.
I would not want it out, and I think that if there were any videos out there,
I mean, you're trying to release them on OnlyFans, so you're.
Well, I was going to say if they were ever out there, I feel like I'd be pretty proud. I'd be like, all right, I stand behind it. You know, like that was me. I did that. And
yeah, but as a woman, you either have to go like, sex tape angle or your career's over.
I just don't think that's true. I think that's a story you're telling yourself so that you can avoid having the intimate experience of taking photos and filming your sex life.
I don't even think I love being on camera. So it's not that. It's actually more the fear of it getting.
What if you just delete it?
Yeah, just for the act of it.
Yeah, so
sure.
do
when
it.
I break my celibacy in 5 years, I will start with that right there.
See, but let's explore the discomfort you feel even in recording and then deleting it.
I actually think the process of recording it is hot because hello, I love.
I've done that before. You record it and then you watch it together. Yeah. And then you get super turned on and then you have sex again and then you delete it.
Yeah. Okay.
This is really.
Damn, we never thought it would go on this long.
I know.
Oh, shit.
How do you keep intimacy alive in a long-term relationship?
Yeah, so it's so funny. Like when I was obviously in my long-term relationship, I would talk to some single friends and they would just be like, I'm addicted to my vibrator. Like all I can think about is sex and like, you know, all the things. And I was just like, wow, crazy. Like can't relate, you know? When you're in a long-term relationship, sometimes you're like, and it's funny because now that the tables are turned, that I'm single and they're in long-term relationships. Like one of my friends was like, I try to pretend I'm asleep so my husband doesn't try to have sex with me. You know, I'm like, oh, damn. So I would say it is a real thing. Like I feel like especially when you make it past like 5-6 years together, that you do have to, you know, definitely make more of an initiative. I actually worked with BB, who you know.
She's a good friend.
Who's amazing, and just like learning different things, like trying different like of your erotic blueprints. So if you've always been like, I don't know, I mean, all of them we could expand more to, but maybe you're more sensual. Can you tap into your energetic? Can you explore kink? Can you be more spontaneous in your sexual? So exploring new erotic blueprints is really helpful. Even just re-getting to know each other sexually. I feel like just as the DNA in our body shifts, like our sexual blueprint and turn-ons shift. So you might have gone into the relationship as one version of you and think that that's what you both like, but it's actually maybe not. And sometimes it only takes like being with someone else to figure it out, but you can like rediscover that with yourselves. I feel like for me, dancing turns me on. So for women, things that turn yourself on are naturally going to create more turn on in that. So like going to a pole dancing class, like wearing sexy lingerie and dancing on your floor, even just touching yourself, like self-touch, like breast massage, or even just like, you know, I love the Taoist practices of like the figure 8 and the microcosmic orbit and all these ways that you can just like move sexual energy through your own body. So then you're so turned on and pulsating that that's like naturally going to call him in. I feel like most of the time in the long-term relationship, it's the woman really who isn't feeling as turned on anymore. And a lot of times she's lost touch with her spark, you know, so it's like dressing cutely, like going out, doing the things that you used to do when you were single, and that creates that natural spark again. And then also just like exploring your erogenous zones and also having your own self-pleasure practice. I feel like when you're in a relationship, sometimes you stop self-pleasuring because you're like, why would I? I'm in a partnership, or like it would be weird like if he knew, you know? And I think that that's really important because that's like cultivating your own like ojas, your own life force. And that's actually going to trickle into the sex life.
Yeah, I think that everything that you said is 100%. And I think that seeing sexuality and intimacy as a joint subject to learn about, a joint skill to get better at, and seeing it as a journey that you're both on together, because just as you age and get older and as different cycles of your life, as you become parents or whatever, there's going to be different things that you need and want. There's going to be ebbs and flows. And as long as you look at sexuality as something that you are sort of like a wave that you're riding and it changes, I think that's really important. And then just a lot of fun, novel things, like go do things together, you know?
Are you into sex toys?
Yeah, to some degree. I'm not like huge into them in that way.
What's your erotic blueprint?
I haven't taken it in a long time.
Okay.
I haven't taken it in a long time. I believe I was energetic when I last took it. But I'm also very a visual person in a big way.
So it's sensual, energetic, kink, sexual, and shapeshifter.
So sexual and energetic, I believe, were the two big ones for me. And so I want to take it again because it could have shifted. But also like role playing, going to a play party,
Have you been to a play party?
Yeah, I've been to a bunch of them.
Do you like them?
Most of the time I don't really do anything. There's been a couple
Do you go with a partner or you just go on your own?
I've done both.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that total, maybe the amount of play parties I've been to in my life is maybe like 6 or 7.
Okay.
You know, so it's not a huge part of my life. I've gone with a partner, and I've gone by myself. And so I could see that being fun with a partnership. I'm like, my desire is to have a monogamous relationship where we occasionally have experiences together. So having even the ability to have those experiences together, for me, opens up this world of
Experiences like with another woman, or you
Ideally,
would
yeah,
swap?
No.
Swap. Okay.
So I don't want polyamory because I don't desire for us to have connections outside of the union. But if we were to bring like a woman into our union together, or if we were to go to a play party and say, hey, we're going together and we're going to discuss what, like, that's for me the way that I see it, because I don't believe necessarily in the whole, okay, we're never going to have any sort of sexual experience outside of just the two of us for the rest of our lives. I don't subscribe to that necessarily. Oh, come on. Wow.
Like I said, there can only be one star. How do you know if your partner's support is genuine or just for show? Have you ever had a jealous partner?
Yes. Yes, I have. If their support is genuine or just for show. I don't know if it really, to be honest, I don't know if it even really matters, I guess. Like, are they supporting you? You know what I mean? There's so many things that I'll do in a relationship that I don't necessarily, I'm not like excited, like, this is my favorite thing to do. I'm going to do it because I want to support you. Is that just for show? I don't understand the even idea of just support. They're either supporting you or not. And I think that I would rather have a partner who supports me, and even if I know it's not their favorite thing, but they still do it because they want to support me, to me, that's okay. There's going to be so many things that we do that are like just for show, I guess, unless you read that question differently.
Yeah. Yeah, I took it as like just for show is they're saying they're supportive of a decision in your life, but they just feel like they should be, but they aren't actually. So, you know, for example, actually in my previous relationship, he never read my books. He never listened to my podcast. And I was just like, okay, I guess he's busy, but that actually hurt me, right? Because it felt like you're not a fan of like what I do, you know, and then you're not a fan of like who I am and like what I stand for in the world. But he was just like, I'm not a girl, I'm not your audience, you know, and I understand that perspective as well. But I feel like in future relationships that I'm in, I would want to be their biggest fan and them be mine.
But you put out so much content. Like, I don't care if
they
listen to my
they have
podcast.
To like and comment on every post. And reshare it on their stories.
But I would want, so my spoken word poetry album, I would want them to listen to that.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't need them to listen to all my podcasts or any of my podcasts, really. Like, there's a difference for me. I would want them to experience my art. I would want them to go to some of my live events and shows. I would want them, but my content that's going out regularly on Instagram, they don't need to watch every reel or any of that kind of stuff. I think there's sort of a limit to it. And
not every reel, but like if your partner doesn't like what you do, I think that's...
But liking what you do and consuming all of it,
right?
Do they go hand in hand?
No, they don't actually need to consume all of it. But let's say that person's just like, I'm like not really into poetry, but like love you.
Yeah.
How would you feel?
I'd get them to like poetry.
But what if it's just not their thing?
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
I knew this couple and she was married to a comedian and she did not find him funny at all.
Oh, that would be hard.
Yeah.
Like if you just didn't find not even if you were,
and
like if I'm dating someone
and
I just don't even enjoy their sense of humor.
Right.
I couldn't do that regardless.
Right.
Wow. That's the worst. When you actually don't think your partner's good at what they do.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't actually.
Yeah. Or you're not a fan of what they stand for, you know?
I couldn't.
Right. Because I feel like your partner, like I hope to be in a relationship where I'm like obsessed with what they do and I'm inspired by what they do.
Yeah. I want to be inspired by my partner.
Yes.
For sure. And it doesn't have to be like a big thing, but like in some way, shape or form, I'm inspired by how they live.
Yes. How did I not see that one?
I'm gonna win. Do women prefer a man who takes his time or someone who's more direct in dating?
Both.
That's such a woman answer. That's literally the most woman answer ever.
This is a good combo. Okay. I like a man who's direct in terms of like, I would like to see you. I'm gonna plan a date. Plans the date. Texts me. Makes it known that he's interested in me. That is so sexy, so attractive. like a man who's like in his like assertive masculine energy, right? He's direct. However, also a man who takes his time. So he's not like I have a friend who, this guy that she went on like one date with, he was essentially like, I would like to explore our energies together. And she was just like she didn't understand what he meant. He books a hotel room for the second date. And she was like, no, that's like not, I was not down for that. And he kind of made it this like whole thing of like, well, I don't know if we can, like, I need to explore our energies together. Basically spiritual fuckboy.
Yeah.
You know? And that to me is like, no amount of directness can overcompensate that. Like, that's just like, it's very clear what you want here. So a man who's direct, but he's taking his time and getting to know you. He's getting to know you, your personality. You're going out, you're doing things together before like necessarily just having sex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got
What about you? Do you prefer a woman?
Anyone
Do you
else
like a direct?
anyone else super confused? Every man out there? Yeah, great.
Be direct, but take your time.
Yes.
It's not that complicated.
I think there's a being direct is not, that has nothing to do with speed. So as the man, I want to provide the container, and the container is, I'm into you. I would like to get to know you better. I would like to move this in the direction of the romantic direction, right? And but the speed at which that needs to happen, I think oftentimes is dictated by the woman initially. But I often also see a lot of men who want to actually slower, not maybe necessarily physically, because for those reasons, but like the intimacy and connection and like what this means and all of that. There's an archetypal like, okay, let me take my time there of committing to you in that way. And so I think that moving it in a certain direction requires directness, and I think is very helpful for women. It creates safety to let them know very clearly what your intentions are, or if you don't know, or if you don't want it, or whatever, just like create that.
But don't you feel like at the beginning you kind of like know this is like wifey, or?
It depends on the situation and depends on the season.
Okay.
Right? It depends on the season. So when I was coming out of my breakup, right, there's a thing in my head of going, I want partnership. I know I want partnership. I feel ready for partnership. And there's a certain emotional healing that's still in process that can make things really confusing and I'm not sure and that sort of thing. And that has nothing to do with the woman in front of me. It actually has nothing to do with her. So again, being clear in your communication, direct with your desires, and that can change. That can change from a week to week, or, hey, I just need to take a couple weeks to figure my shit out. That's okay to communicate, because there, I think, is safety in just clear communication, even if it's not what they necessarily want to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like even women do this too, but you kind of like categorize people from the beginning of like, is this someone I'm like long-term, or is this like a lovership or a chapter for now? However, I feel like something happens in our minds and then we kind of turn everyone into our husbands at some point. And then because I've noticed that too, a lot of girls are like, yeah, I'm just gonna like have my hoe phase. And then like the first guy they start hooking up with is like, I think this could work out, you know? So I think it's like a lot harder for women to actually like, when men are like, I'm not sure where this is going, that sends our nervous system into panic. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, girl. Okay, damn.
I am going to win. Come on.
Boom, 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 boom.
I don't even know.
Game over, bitches. Okay.
What?
Does having unprotected sex make it harder to move on from someone, or is it just in my head?
It depends on if you're having unprotected sex with...
like, does a condom
yes,
energetically
100%.
cock block?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that wearing a condom while having sex adds an actual layer that energetically and physically prevents a certain level of connection.
Yeah.
And so having
So do you tell
unprotected
girls,
sex,
well, we can't use a condom because I need the energetic connection?
I don't have unprotected sex with people I'm not in long-term relationship with. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's definitely another spiritual fuckboy lie. Our past lives can't heal if we're wearing a condom. You know how it is.
We need to be fully connected so that you can receive the consciousness of my crystal cock.
Exactly. We got to clear the karma, and it's the only way is through my raw dick. Yeah.
Exactly. My raw dick. God, you're savage.
But I agree that a condom is like an energetic barrier and protection. Mm-hmm. But it's hard. Like I'm amazed that there's like we can fucking go to like Mars or whatever, and there's still not better birth control options out there. Because it's still like, so what do? Just pull and pray?
But I think, well, yeah, there's
like
pull and pray.
That's it. That's the only option. What do you do?
Om Mani Padme Om. Please,
Jai
no
Krishna,
babies. No, I think that.
I just started doing that actually before. That's why I've been celibate the whole time, because I just start chanting the moment it starts getting there, and then they're just like, I can't with this one.
Okay, that's the boner
Hare
killer
Krishna
chant.
comes on. Yeah, I gotta
Whoa.
go. The fact that I was able to move the whole fucking table and still keep this shit on and pop in is like, who's the boss right here?
Check feet, check ears, check everything. Pretty all here.
You are the worst distractor ever. I'm gonna need the dog next time. Come here.
How do you navigate bedroom preferences when they make you uncomfortable?
So
How do you do
I would first ask yourself why it makes you feel uncomfortable. Because oftentimes it's like we feel uncomfortable with the thing as women because we haven't opened. And honestly, most of the time is because we aren't feeling that sense of pleasure within ourselves. We're doing that thing for them. So for example, I have a friend, and I was actually just talking to her the other day, and she was saying that her partner, wants to explore anal.
Okay.
And she doesn't feel comfortable, she doesn't feel ready, and she was just kind of like telling me about it, and I'm like, well, do you feel turned on? And she's like, no, like I feel like more like I gotta get through it. And I'm like, that's the masculine. I gotta get through it. I gotta persevere. I gotta take it, And like, of course you're not gonna feel turned on if you're feeling that. So I was telling her, what makes you feel turned on in your body? Like touching your body really slowly, dancing, like getting yourself, even like beforehand, like getting yourself to this natural turned on state where you're like desiring more. And then it may turn into that and it may not. And also I feel like your partner will want to do the things that turn you on. So if it's like you're mustering through something for them, like a healthy relationship, they wouldn't want that either, So
you wouldn't do anything sexually for your partner that you weren't into?
I guess it depends. Like not into it is different than not feeling comfortable doing it.
Yeah, feeling like really uncomfortable.
Yeah, like she was in pain. And I'm like, well, that doesn't feel fair to you,
So she did it.
She was getting herself to do it, but really didn't like it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that your body shuts down as a woman if you keep practicing that. It's like super abrasive, and it's important, like anything sexually, for a woman, for us to be in full like engorgement, which like most women never reach. So it's like getting your body to a place where she's like wet and juicy and drippy and desiring of more, whereas most women have never experienced that in their lives. They've never even gotten themselves that because it takes time. So I would say if you were really fully like turned on and also very connected to your partner, it may amaze you the things that you would be interested in.
Yeah, I think that, do you have compersion? Are you familiar
No,
with that?
I know what that is, and I don't.
So compersion
I'm a
for people
jealous
watching,
compersion
is you get pleasure. You get pleasure from your partner's pleasure. It doesn't have to be, so this is often in polyamorous relationships because you enjoy seeing your partner get pleasure, even if someone else is giving your partner pleasure, but it doesn't have to lead
compersion?
to that. To some degree, but not to the point where I would enjoy seeing my partner be like, having sex with another guy. I don't think that doesn't turn me on.
So what would turn you on that your partner's doing with someone else?
I mean, I would get turned on if she's having pleasure with a woman. Like that for me visually is also appealing. And I feel
every guy wants to be poly with another woman.
It's not poly. It's not poly. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? So statistically speaking, women are far more likely to be attracted to other women and find other women attractive than men are to find men attractive, right? So for me, it's actually not. If my partner came to me and said, hey, I want to have a threesome with another man. For me, in partnership, the first responsibility I feel I have is to sit with their request and really think about, okay, could I
Have you ever
do that?
with another guy?
Not with so I've had a threesome where it was me, a guy, and a woman. That kind of just happened. It was not with with a partner that I was dating.
Okay.
Like, it was, yeah.
And did you like it?
It was kind of weird. So you kind of have to understand the context. I was in college and I was asleep in my room. And then my friend and this girl come into the bedroom and they're like hooking up. And then like they're suddenly in my bed. And I'm like, guys, can you please get out of my bed? And then it kind of just turns into this thing. So it,
Okay.
so it wasn't.
Were you and the guy ever together, or it was more around her?
No, we didn't actually like touch or like, you know what I mean? It was just, on opposite ends.
What's like the bro code on that? Like no eye contact? Like what's the
It was in
word?
the dark. I mean, it was in the dark or whatever, but there was no
Like,
physical
but I'm sure you
contact.
accidentally touches it like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm so much more comfortable. I mean, I was 20 something years old, and now I'm so much more comfortable in my own sexuality, but I'm not turned on by men.
Yeah.
So the way that I view this is a threesome with another woman, if my partner is into that, means that all three people are turned on. A threesome with another man means that she might be turned on, he might be turned on, but I'm sitting there going like, okay, I'm doing this for her, or I'm watching it for her. So I'm looking for experiences that we can, me and my partner both are into.
I just see a lot of women convincing themselves that they're turned on by having another girl because they know their partner wants that.
But I've also had women who have straight up said to me, I will always need to have some female lovers at time to time. And I'm like, great, awesome. We're going to get along fantastic.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's a tricky thing. And so I think when we talk about navigating the bedroom preferences when they make you uncomfortable, I think that communication, learning how to communicate that in a safe way is really important, because I want to understand what it is that turns you on about it, right? If you told me, okay, I want to have like 4 men at the same time, I'm going, okay, like, let me sit with that for a moment and then help me understand what it is that turns you on about that. Help me understand why, and let me see if there's a space I can meet you somewhere.
And a lot of fantasies are that it's like maybe her desire to feel ravished, engulfed by the masculine. Maybe you can just provide more of that energy, but she thinks she needs 4 guys.
Right. Yeah. And maybe there's a way for me to like be okay with like if it was just hands. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just like, okay, I'm gonna bring like a situation, like
Bring
a
the
play
squad.
party, and be like, all right, there's like 3 dudes, and you're massaging my partner. You can't touch these areas. But
Here's
like,
the thing, like people say that, but then like once you start doing that shit, it's like you just keep going down that road.
is that your experience?
I feel the people I am
No,
not.
I feel
I am
before
not,
you project. Is that your experience?
I am monogamous as fuck. I will call
Right,
that.
so is
to
this your
myself.
experience?
And what I've seen of people who have taken down this path is like it's never enough. Once you had the 5-hand, 8-hand massage situation, it's like you're not going to go back to 2.
I disagree. Like I've had me and 3 women, right? And I can say that in that experience, it's cool. Like a threesome's cool. And it's not something that is going to make or
That
break
was a
my relationship.
foursome.
That was a foursome.
Yeah.
But it's not something that is so amazing that it needs to be a part of my life for the rest.
Right.
Like there are some people who go into that world and that's what is like their life. We know those people, but it's just not mine. And I think that it's important to honor your sexual preferences. And if they can be deal breakers. I do think that if you have someone who wants to be like constantly having threesomes and kink parties and that's not you, that's probably a deal breaker. Your sexual preferences are a deal breaker, which is why it's so important to navigate with clear, conscious communication. Yeah. And so then when it comes to what's making me uncomfortable, because what I'll say is in my long-term relationship, we talked about going to a play party for the first time. We'd been dating maybe 6 years, 7 years at that point. And I had a lot of fear come up around her falling in love with a woman. And up until then, I'd had these fantasies about a threesome. But the moment that suddenly we were talking about it, I realized I had a lot of fear.
Was she bisexual?
Yeah, okay. a little bit. And so I thought there's nothing I would be able to do about that. There's no competition. If she fell in love with a woman, I could literally do nothing and she could just go. And so that fear came up. I'm so glad that fear came up. I'm so glad I got to see that. But the discomfort I felt around the threesome when we were talking about it wasn't what I thought it would be. And so similarly, if you are navigating something that's uncomfortable about your bedroom preferences, it's important to look at why. What is it? And that's why I love the conversations. That's why I had a partner tell me she had a fantasy about having multiple men at once and being penetrated in multiple holes at once. Like she told me that. And I went, like, could I ever do that? Like what? Like what's coming up in me?
So would her sharing that make you want to end the relationship?
No, because my first thought is always, could I give that to her? And I would sit with it. I would say, I'll sit with that for months. You know, I'll think about if that's something you really want, I'll think about that. And she said to me, but it's actually a fantasy that I don't think I ever need. She said, there's like a fantasy element to it, but I'm so selective with my partners. I need to really trust people. It's just that sort of thing. The idea of doing it with kind of like guys I don't really fully trust I don't think I will ever do that or ask of that, but there is like a fantasy element to that. And so it made me uncomfortable. I was still sitting with it. And I think the ability to communicate about that stuff, it creates such a safety and it allows us to go, okay, well, what is it that really is a turn on for her about that? And how can I bring more of that to her? And so I think that's important.
I love that she felt safe enough to communicate that with you. I love that you like took it seriously, because I think a lot of men would just like shut down or be like, you're a hoe or like something like that, and that you were able to like be like, could I do that? But then even her realizing that sometimes a fantasy is a fantasy, right? It's like not every fantasy we actually want to bring to reality, but I do think there is something in the feminine consciousness that just wants to be like ravished and taken and filled, right?
Right, and I think that most of the discomfort around a lot of these fantasies, obviously the anal thing that we're talking about is a physical discomfort and not enjoying pleasure, which I would encourage that person to actually do maybe some additional anal de-armoring, for example. Like there's a lot of ways that you can just explore it, right? Now, but so many fears around this stuff is because of a fear of being abandoned, fear of being left, that your partner is going to fall in love with someone else, that they're going to lose love for you, that they're going to, all of that stuff. And I found that for me, jealousy, if I feel jealous, it's because there's an insecurity in me. Like I'm threatened by something in that man, or I'm threatened by the fact that I'm feeling disconnected from my partner at that time. And so that's where the threat comes from. When I feel really connected to my partner and I feel really good in myself, I don't feel jealous. Jealousy doesn't come in. It's not because of something that's happening.
So if you saw her having sex with someone, you wouldn't feel jealous?
I mean, you just took it to it. Like, what led us to her having sex with someone else? And I'm like watching it. Like, what's the situation exactly?
Well, let's say she went to a play party and she's like, it's in my sovereign truth and alignment to, explore energies with this tantric king.
If she spoke to me like that, that would be the end of the relationship right there. No, I think that I don't imagine ever being in a partnership where we don't go to a play party having previously discussed what our boundaries are. And then if she were to come up to me and say, hey, I really feel like I want to go and do this with this guy, it would be an in the moment thing.
So here's the catch-22 is like, we want people to share their truth, to not feel shame. And people don't share their truth and shame because they're going to feel abandoned. But what if they make a request that you're not down with?
Yeah, that's my truth too.
Right. And so then they might be abandoned.
Well, I think that, no, because just because I'm not acquiescing to what you want doesn't mean I'm abandoning you. Those are two very different things.
Well, yes, but maybe, how much of it is like a person who wants these things, that's just who they are, versus, or a phase, we don't really know.
But that's part of the exploration that you do together. So to have this idea, I want an open relationship. So I was in somewhat of an open relationship, and I acted on it one time. In the course of a year, I acted on it one time. And it was a really beautiful experience where I had the opportunity to go, wow, I just had this experience. I slept with someone else. I don't regret it. We ended it as adults and we know, like, hey, we may never talk to each other again. And then I developed a deep appreciation for what I have with my partner, like to a deeper level. And that
So
was
would
all.
you only be in open relationships now?
No.
No.
I want a monogamous relationship where we don't have any external, like I don't want to have a one-on-one relationship outside of my partnership. And I don't want her to have that. I want that to be a sacred union. And I want for us to be able to, if we choose, have an experience of a play party or bring a woman into the bedroom or whatever together. And it's because that we both want that.
Yep.
And I think that in relationship, when it comes to sexual preferences, when it comes to so many things, it's important to move at the speed of the slower partner. And so if the slower partner is less comfortable with that world, you move at that speed. You move at his speed or her speed, and you continually stay and check in. And it's okay to let your desires be known. Hey, I'd like to go in this direction. And where are you comfortable? Where's your edge? And because for me, I want to grow. I want to grow in relationship. And that means I'm going to have to get outside of my comfort zone. And who's to say that we start in one place and then 10 years after we've had children and like we're in a whole different space, who's to say that her preferences or my preferences won't change and what we desire won't change? So the most important thing is that we've established clear, safe communication together in our relationship early on.
Yeah, love that. The fact that I can move it so you're right.
Oh, come on. I can't even.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got Jenga on my mind, I don't care. Can never get enough. All right. My best friend has a new boyfriend who loves to flirt with me. Do I say something or just start hanging out with them less? Well, you're a good friend.
I think you say something.
How would you bring that up?
If it was like my.
Have you ever had one of your friends or girlfriends flirt with you? Slide in the DMs.
No, I don't think so. But I've had. You know what I did have? Yeah, so my friend was like not really dating. He was like talking to this girl, and she came, and so they'd slept together. They'd had some experiences, but they weren't dating. And then she came over and she was drunk and like we were just all hanging out. And then he left the room and she tried to kiss me. And
he was just in the other room.
He went upstairs or whatever, and she just
this is the girl with the Finsta, I think. Had to be her.
I went, whoa, not cool. I don't remember what I said. It was something like that. And she got super charged and then left, right? Left her dog, by the way. She had brought her dog over. She was drunk and then left the dog.
Jail.
And so he comes back down. He's like, where'd you go? And I said, bro, you're not going to believe what just happened. And I just told him and straight up, right? And so that was...
Did he believe you?
Yeah, of course. Okay, yeah. And so I just think that for me, I don't want any of my friends to be with someone, because if they're flirting with me, they're flirting with other people. If they're, and so I just want to look out for my friend, and I want to love who my friends are with.
Okay, would you ever, let's say your friend is dating someone and you just don't like the person, you get a bad vibe from the person. Would you tell them that?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
Even if they didn't ask?
It depends on where they're at in their relationship and different things. But yeah, I'd be honest if asked, hey, what do you think about so-and-so? I'd say, honestly, I don't think she treats you very well. Mm-hmm. I've said that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Abracadabra. I mean, I don't think you're allowed to catch it. I think you got to let it fall, but we'll give you that one. I will be amazed.
No! All right.
Do you want to pick a random last one, or are we out of time?
We're out of time.
Okay.
We are out of time.
Well, guys,
We did a good job, right? sex, love, Jenga. Thank you so much, everybody, for your questions. Thank you for forcing us to have some uncomfortable but beautiful conversations. I think these are the type of conversations that we want to normalize. And we appreciate you being a part of this. Anything you want to?
Yeah, I'll make sure to never share this video with anyone I ever date. So
if you could actually leak this video,
don't share this
leak
video.
this video out
Keep
onto
it
the
to
internet.
yourself. Pretend it never.
Absolutely. That's what we want. Yeah, I'll send you nudes. Thanks, fam.